Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's U.S. End-of-Week Deep Dive, covering market movements in indexes, sectors, stocks, and global markets. The week ending Friday, May 22nd, 2026, saw significant actions in the financial markets. Kicking things off, I'm Max Profit. Key indexes were mostly up. The S&P 500 index closed at 7,473.48, gaining 64.99 points, a 0.87% increase. The Dow 30 index hit a new all-time high, closing at 50,579.70 after rising 1,053.52 points, up 2.1%. The Nasdaq Composite Index saw a modest rise, adding 118.83 points to end at 26,343.97, a 0.45% increase. The S&P 400 Mid-Cap Index closed at 3,673.40, up 63.59 points or 1.7%. Lastly, the Russell 2000 Index reported a significant gain of 75.93 points, a 2.7% increase, closing at 2,869.23. All indices exhibited a very strong positive trend. In market breadth, the indexes showed a mixed picture with a leaning towards declines. The S&P 500 had 238 advances to 251 declines over the week. The Dow 30 saw more advances than declines with an 18-to-12 ratio. The Nasdaq Composite recorded 1,289 advances against 1,659 declines. The S&P 400 Mid-Cap boasted 177 advances versus 211 declines. Likewise, the Russell 2000 was nearly balanced with 906 advances to 910 declines overall this week. Examining the total and daily returns were strong overall. The S&P 500 had a weekly total return of 0.88% with a daily average of 0.18%. The Dow 30 marked a weekly return of 2.13%, averaging 0.42% daily. The Nasdaq Composite posted a weekly total return of 0.45%. The S&P 400 Mid-Cap offered a weekly gain of 1.76%, while the Russell 2000 led the pack with a 2.72% weekly return, averaging 0.55% daily gains. Looking at long-term total and annual returns, robust growth was evident. The S&P 500 offered a 10-year annual return of 13.79%. The Dow 30 showed growth with an 11.19% annual return over 10 years. The Nasdaq Composite led long-term gains with an impressive 18.63% annual rate. The S&P 400 Mid-Cap and the Russell 2000 had similar patterns, with annual returns of 9.73% and 9.93% respectively over the same period.
Checking out best and worst performing equities, I'm Penny Stock. Akari Therapeutics closed at 18.27, climbing by 14.78 with a 423.4% surge, experiencing an upward breakout after 108 flat days. Pico Sila advanced to 6.62 with a 5.25 increase, while recording a new all-time lower close previously set at 1.35 just days ago. Co-Diagnostics followed, closing up at 5.7 with a significant 3.78 rise, marking another all-time low in recent weeks. On a notable upswing, Akari Therapeutics reported a remarkable total return exceeding 423% this week. Pico Sila and Co-Diagnostics achieved impressive weekly returns of over 383% and 293%, respectively. Meanwhile, Metavia continued to show a positive trend, closing up 2 consecutive weeks. Drilling into annual returns, Akari Therapeutics has faced a challenging decade with an annual rate of return consistently negative. Pico Sila and Co-Diagnostics also show downside in recent years, maintaining negative trends over varied timeframes. Big names were shining this week, with Dell Technologies reaching a peak close of 295.19, marking a new all-time high and displaying a very strong positive trend. Meanwhile, HP followed closely with a substantial 4.43 increase, ending at 25.24. Enphase Energy maintained momentum with a 21% rise at 64.3, recording a one-year high. Delving into returns, Dell Technologies scored a standout year-to-date return, exceeding 134%, showcasing robust growth. HP and Enphase Energy demonstrated stable gains with over 21% weekly returns, maintaining strong positive trends with consistent upward closes. Over the longer-term horizon, Dell Technologies boasts a remarkable 164% annual return over the past year. Enphase Energy stands out with outstanding decade-long returns, securing a 425% annual rate of return. Meanwhile, HP reflects a small but positive decade return at 25.24. Focusing on declines, Lichen China soured, dropping 88.1% to close at 0.84, setting a new low. Jeyude Global Logistics also plummeted, recording an 84.6% decline, with its lowest close at 0.77. Bitcoin Depot marked its fourth consecutive weekly drop, declining by 83.2% at 0.49. In a week overshadowed by losses, Lichen China posted a staggering 88% drop in total return. Jeyude Global Logistics mirrored this trend with a significant downturn, while Bitcoin Depot maintained a sharp downward trajectory over 4 consecutive weeks. In the stock market, Lichen China fell sharply to close at 84 cents, a drop of 6.23 and an 88.1% decline, marking a new all-time low. Jeyude Global Logistics also saw a steep drop, closing at 77 cents, down 4.23 and 84.6%. Bitcoin Depot closed at 49 cents, down 83.2% with ongoing volatility. Work Medical Technology closed at 11 cents, experiencing a strong negative trend. Global MoFi Metaverse also closed lower and continues its downward path. Among the big cap stocks, Intuit leads with a 3-week downward trend, closing at 319.94, a 73.6 drop with significant volatility. Walmart slipped to 120.27, marking a downturn from previous highs. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals fell to 638.88, down 8.5%. Cummins experienced a drop as well, while maintaining a strong positive trend. Hasbro closed at 88.10, down for the second week. In terms of returns, Intuit continues to show a strong negative trend with a weekly return decrease of 18.5%. Meanwhile, Walmart shows mixed trends with a drop of 8.5% in weekly returns, despite a year-to-date increase. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals posts a negative weekly return of -8.5%. Cummins maintains a positive trend despite a downturn, indicating resilience in its performance. Hasbro records further declines in its negative trend. Adverse trends continue for big cap stocks. Intuit sees a one-year return decrease by over 51%. Walmart, despite recent dips, posts a positive 10-year annual return. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals has a 10-year return of 65.5%. Strong positive growth seen in Cummins with long-term returns up. Hasbro maintains a mixed negative trend with limited growth over 10 years.
And now on to U.S. sector performance. The healthcare sector closed at 1,744.70, up 55.90 points. A notable 3.3% gain this week. It closed up for the second consecutive week, showcasing a mixed positive trend with some upward volatility. Meanwhile, Consumer Cyclical sector also saw a very strong positive trend, closing at 1,973.31, up 1.9%. Healthcare had strong breadth this week with 566 advances compared to 364 declines. Notably, while utilities and real estate showed significant advancements, 74 and 178 respectively over the week, Consumer Cyclical had a high number of advances at 317 compared to 128 declines, highlighting its strength. Examining total returns, healthcare noted a weekly total return of 3.31%, contrasting with a year-to-date drop of 3.39%. Conversely, real estate continued a strong year-to-date total return of 10.94%. Meanwhile, utilities posted a 5.88% year-to-date total return. Long-term returns portray healthcare with an impressive 10-year total return of 117.1%, yielding an annual return rate of 8.06%. Remarkably, Consumer Cyclical leads with a 220.04% 10-year total return, translating to a superior annual rate of 12.33%. In comparison, financial services recorded a 176.28% 10-year total return with a 10.69% annual rate.
In the healthcare sector, Dexcom saw a surge, closing at $72.10, with a gain of $10.47, marking a 16.9% increase. It displayed strong upward volatility for the second consecutive week. Meanwhile, Baxter International trades rose by $1.88 to end at $19.18, reflective of strong positive trends. Within the healthcare sector, a week of notable performance for Dexcom, with a robust 16.9% rise in total returns. Bio-Techne faced contrasting dynamics, with a decline in monthly total returns by 12.85%. In contrast, Merck registered a strong upward trend with a monthly return surge of 12.1%. Turning to long-term metrics, Merck showcases impressive 10-year ARR of 8.8%, indicating robust consistency. In contrast, Bio-Techne has experienced a 42.7% decrease over 3 years, aligning with its recent negative trends.
The communication services sector closed down 1.8%, marking the second consecutive week of decline. A very strong positive trend remains intact. The consumer defensive sector also fell, losing 0.97%, continuing its strong upward trend. Energy edged down 0.37% while maintaining its positive trajectory. Communication services and consumer defensive sectors experienced more declines than advances in daily metrics. The energy sector saw more advances over the past month, revealing a strong positive pattern. Key sectors showed mixed performances, with basic materials and industrials maintaining upward movement. Communication services sustained a weekly decline of over 1.8%, yet its year-to-date return remains positive at 9.04%. Energy experienced a moderate drop of 0.37% for the week, but boasts a strong year-to-date return over 31.52%. Patterns across sectors show continued volatility. Reviewing annual metrics, the communication services sector's 10-year total return is over 200%. Industrials marked a robust trend with a 10-year total return of 204.67%. The energy sector also showed positive long-term returns despite short-term declines.
Today, the communications sector saw several stocks closing down. Take-Two Interactive Software ended the week at $227.55, with a notable drop of 14.89, marking a 6.1% decrease. While experiencing some upward volatility, its trend remains mixed positive. Breaking down the week, Alphabet also closed down at 382.97, a decrease of 13.81 or 3.4%. The stock has closed down for 2 weeks straight, but maintains a very strong positive trend overall. Year to date, Alphabet's total return stands at 22.35%. Focusing on long-term trends, Live Nation Entertainment shows strong performance over the past 10 years, with a total return of 620.1%, translating to an annual return of 21.81%. Despite a recent downward breakout from its flat trend of 3 days, it holds a very strong positive trend.
Thanks for watching. I'm Max Profit, along with my AI co-host Penny Stock. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated, and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency, and commodities. Thanks for watching.